Hi everyone, so today I'll be sharing with you my honest and unbiased opinion of the upcoming OCR region launch called the Springleaf Residence. So if you enjoy what I'll be sharing with you later on, please feel free to follow us on our social media page, as well as should you have any inquiries on your property related, please feel free to reach out to me. So the topics that I'll be covering include what is the break-even price for the developer to be purchasing this plot of land at Springleaf Residence. I will also be touching a little bit back in 2022 what happened to the Lentor area. Project overview of Springleaf Residence and why this project may not be suitable for everyone, or why you should even consider purchasing these Springleaf Residence units. So break-even price. The developer bought this plot of land at 904 per plot ratio, and if you were to factor in adding on the construction costs, legal fees, financing fees, or agency fees, etc. and what's not, in order for the developer to break even, they have to be looking at 1,806 PSF. And if we factor in the profit margin at 20%, I am expecting the project to be selling at 2,001 PSF. But is it going to be the case? Watch on to find out more. Bring you back to 2022 when the Lentor area was slated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 condominium launches. Now think about this. How would developers of this project behave in such an intense environment? With the projects coming up side by side, the competition will be aggressive. Can you imagine the level of motivation for the developers to sell their units back then? And more importantly, how would they be pricing their projects, knowing that every buyer has got multiple options to choose from right next door? Let's not also forget about Amo Residence, who actually launched about 2 to 3 months before the first Lentor project came into place. So in fact, Amo Residence sells out 98% of its units on the launch weekend itself, with its highest transacted at 2,003 PSF. So as the developer of Lentor Modern, with Amo Residence selling out at 98% of its units on the first day of the launch weekend, and at the back of your mind, you already know that they have already transacted at 2,003 PSF. If today you are the developer of Lentor Modern, how would you price your units and your project to capture the market? So fast forward about 3 months after Amos Residence launch came the first Lentor launch known as the Lentor Modern. Lentor Modern entered the market, and here is the shocker. The price was just from 1,008 PSF, and this is a whopping 500 PSF lower than its compelling neighbor, which had just transacted couples of months earlier. So why would a developer do that? And what could possibly drive such aggressive marketing pricing strategy? If you remember, the intense competition comes from the neighboring projects itself. With multiple projects launching side by side, the developer are generally motivated to move their units quickly. And when competition is this intense, pricing becomes the most powerful weapon. And today, despite the many projects that we have side by side at the Lentor area, we have 7 of them as mentioned earlier, there is only about 144 units left at this region. So what this means that it clearly shows that there is a genuine demand for homes in the northern part of Singapore. And now, let's come back to Springleaf Residence. Situated just 1 station away from the Lentor hut that I mentioned earlier, and looking at the market today, Lentor launches are transacting at 2,003 to 2,005 PSF. Demand in the north that is proven to be real. So put yourself in the developer's shoes of Springleaf Residence today. How would you price your unit, knowing that you are just 1 station away from the action and the hype in the northern region? Before I go into the price, I'd just like to remind you that the Springleaf Residence preview is ongoing from now until 11 August. The public sale launch will go live on 16 August. And if you are still sitting on the fence wondering whether this will be a hot buy or a walk buy, I strongly encourage you to stay tuned to the end of my video as I share with you my unbiased opinion of this project, or simply drop me a message and I'll be happy to assist you to share with you deeper insights of Springleaf Residence if it truly meets your needs, or if not, what other opportunities are out there that could truly fit you. So yes, let's talk about the pricing for Springleaf Residence. The entry price starts at just 1,995 PSF or 4 bedder, and capping at 2001 for a start for all its 3-bedroom. So for a project that is just one station away from the Lentor height, this pricing to me is indeed too good to be true, especially when we already know that projects that is one station away has already transacted at 2003 and reaching at 2005 PSF at this time that we are speaking. Introducing Springleaf Residence, a prestigious project that is jointly developed by both Guaco Land and Hon Leong, which are the very same developer behind the Lentor new launches. So Springleaf Residence will feature 5 residential towers, and there will be 25 stories per tower, housing a total of 941 units. And fun fact, 77% of the landscaping will be dedicated to amenities and landscaping itself, so giving residents a large resort style living environment. It will also come with 80% car park lots, which is rare these days, as more and more projects that I've seen are promoting car light. And moreover, this project is just a 100 meters away walk to Springleaf MRT station, which is highly convenient in terms of the transportation. So buyers are expected to be collecting key in the second half of 2029, and it being a mega development with 941 units, it definitely will come with abundant facilities. And in a nutshell, we are looking at 4 swimming pools, a running track, 3 multifunction room, a tennis court, and even a basketball court. In terms of location, Springleaf Residence couldn't be more convenient. It is literally right next to the project and fully sheltered, making every visit from visitors and the commute to be hassle-free. From here, residence is only 30 minutes train down to Orchard Station. In another 10 minutes, you will reach the CBD region of Singapore. We are looking at Shenton Way, and also to the other parts of the world where Changi Airport is. So for holiday trips, the Thomson East Coast Line will eventually take you directly to the airport terminus, which is a true doorstep convenience for frequent flyers. Just an extra perk for some buyers, Springleaf Residence is currently offering a loyalty program exclusively for previous owners or tenants who has actually stayed in projects that were developed by either Guaco Land or Hon Leong itself. So what does this mean for you? There will be a VVIP booking privilege. You get to select your unit, your ideal unit, one day before the public launch. And not only that, you might also secure the unit at a price that is potentially lower than your neighbors, which means instant paper profits. So let me share more on this. Last year, Guaco Land offered a similar program to its residents in Lentor Mansion, and the results were remarkable. On 15 March, which is the VVIP day, a 3-bedroom was actually secured at 1.7 mil. And a day later, during the public launch day, a same-stack unit was transacted at $164,000 higher. Imagine the instant paper gains just by booking a day earlier. Another example is of a 5-bedder, which was purchased at 3.3 mil, and overnight, your neighbor bought it at 3.4 mil. So want to know which units could give you the same advantage, or if you qualify for this VVIP program at Springleaf Residence, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be able to help you spot opportunities like such. So as we come to a close, let me also share my honest opinion on why Springleaf Residence may not be for everyone. First thing first, limited amenities nearby. Springleaf is still a developing township. Yes, it is surrounded by Springleaf Landed Enclave. There is a Springleaf Prata, and it's also a short drive away from Ang Mo Kio Hub, Thomson Plaza. But beyond that, don't expect a bustling neighborhood just yet. Realistically, it will take another 6 to 7 years for the surrounding development and the amenities to fully come alive. If you understand how Singapore urban planning works, you will know that the government will never leave a site beside the MRT station underdeveloped for long. Just like Punggol in its early days, amenities will come, and with patience comes rewards. Thirdly, for families with young children, this could be a key consideration because currently there are no primary school within 2 kilometers of Springleaf Residence vicinity. This means that parents will need to plan for school transport arrangement, whether it's school bus or personal drop-off. So yes, these to me are real consideration for anyone thinking about Springleaf Residence. But here is the flip side. You might completely change your mind once you see the reasons why I think Springleaf Residence is worth considering. The current attractive entry price is precisely because Springleaf Residence is an emerging township and developers are well aware that this area is still at its infancy stage. This is likely reflected in its pricing, giving buyers opportunities to secure units at lower PSF before the township fully develops and prices catch up. And this is exactly where the first mover advantage comes in. By entering market early, you are buying before the full transformation of the township comes alive. So who, you may ask, are your future buyers? By full transformation, I'm also talking about the rise of the Woodlands Regional Centre. This aligns with Singapore's decentralization strategy. So, as the largest economic hub in the north, Woodlands Regional Centre is designed to serve a growing working population of up to 100,000 homes to be created. In my view, the mix of residential, commercial, and recreational spaces will continue to evolve in a way that keeps the northern region fresh and appealing. This would create a wealth of interesting opportunities to be explored by residents, business owners, and investors. I am also expecting high demand drivers, particularly from the HDB upgrader of the northern regions. So with more than 17,000 flats reaching MOP by 2029 and 2030, by then the Springleaf Residence home will reach its By then, the Springleaf Residence home will be perfectly timed for the next wave of buyers, supporting both capital appreciation and exiting opportunities. Young buyers might also want to live near parents in the landed area, but not least investors who have previously missed out on the Lentor launches but still want a stake in the northern growing story. So together, these groups will form a strong pipeline of future buyers. Let's not forget that Springleaf Residence is just 2 minutes walk to the MRT, and rain or shine, your future home is connected to the city and the airport. And lastly, Springleaf Residence is surrounded by nature reserves, offering a quiet environment where residents can enjoy the peace and calmness of the nature right at home. And with that, I've come to the end of my video. If you have enjoyed what I've shared with you about Springleaf Residence, feel free to reach out should you have any property-related questions. If not, please feel free to follow us on our social media platform. See you in my next video.